Hi there guys, welcome back to the Tower Tech. Going to be slightly philosophical and deep in this video, and what we're going to be looking at is whether technology actually enhances our lives and whether the benefits of having it outweigh the cons. And of course, naturally you're going to assume that my answer is going to be yes. Michael, you run a tech channel, how can you possibly think anything other than tech enhances our lives? But I'm going to do my utmost, guys, to give a balanced perspective on this, look at the pros and cons, and summarise at the end whether ultimately we think the benefits outweigh the cons. And I think the first thing to talk about is the reason why human beings invented technology at all. And we did that to make things easier to do. It's effectively a tool. And if you think all of the way back to our origins as hunter-gatherers, initially we will have invented technology to do things like farming, to have made the production of food easier for us to do. And indeed, farming is a human invention, right? That in itself is a form of technology. The wheel would have been invented to have helped move things around more easily. And what that's allowed us to do over a period of time is free up human beings to do other things other than the production of food. And it's kind of exponential. Once you've freed up one person to start to think about other things that you can do, and you've made yet other things easier, you've then freed up two people, and those two people then indeed free up four people. And the four people then free up eight people. That by definition becomes an exponential curve, and you develop more and more ideas about the other things that you want to do. So ultimately it enables us to enhance our lives and, to leap from our hunter-gatherer origins all the way to modern times. It enhances our lives all the way from entertainment, computer games, movies, televisions, PCs, all of the way through to medical advancements that actually help save people's lives, improve the quality of lives. Think about things like hip replacements, the ability to do surgery on people, not just to save their lives, but actually to improve the quality of the lives that they lead. Things like operations on eyes to correct cataracts so that you can see properly, hearing aids that enable you to hear properly. So, some pretty fundamental things that are quite significant to certain individuals. And, science is a big recipient of the benefit of technology. So, there really is no science without engineering. The whole premise of science is that we have a theory and that we want to go out and test that theory. It's only a theory until we've got empirical evidence that proves that that is correct. More often than not, today, that requires us to use technology. The greatest experiment of which is the Large Hadron Collider that has allowed us to explore subatomic particles and ultimately understand what gives matter mass. And I'm not going to dwell on that too much. For those that know me well, they'll know I'm a complete science geek and I could talk about these kind of things for quite some time, but that's not the point of this video. And actually, if you look at the enablement of science through technology, again, the number of scientific papers produced each year is on a bit of an exponential curve. So our depth of understanding accelerates over a period of time, enabled by technology. It allows us to be much more flexible in the way that we work. Modern technology allows many of us to work from home, which can be materially enhancing to our lives. It improves our work-life ratio, the amount of time that we can spend with our loved ones and our families, and ultimately allows, businesses to be more productive, being able to work more antisocial hours without being less impactful on our lives, all the way to things like, IT support. Modern IT support is about being able to remote onto systems and find out what's going on. Gone are the glamorous days of leaping in cars and driving to remote locations to, solve whatever problem is going on with the server. And there's something inherent to the human condition that wants us to solve difficult challenges, that wants to continue to strive to be more ambitious than perhaps we had been previously. Think about the Apollo missions. We take space travel for granted. We've got the International Space Station and all of the advancements, discoveries that's making. But, think about the engineering, social and human challenge that really was in front of the group of people that worked on the Apollo missions, to land man on the moon. Unprecedented. Had never been done before. But there's something very energizing about a group of people coming together to solve, ultimately, a very, very, very difficult challenge. And, at the risk of sounding a little bit dramatic, ultimately, this could lead to the survival of the species, right, guys? Wind the clock on many, many, many years, and the planet won't be here, the solar system will have been destroyed, the sun will have swelled, and ultimately those discoveries are probably going to actually save the species. There's something inherent again in our nature about wanting to go on and discover yet more things. It used to be the oceans, discovery of the colonies as they became, and the new colonies are the moon and Mars. And even games, games enable us to discover and experience new scenarios. They're a much more immersive type of entertainment than just watching films. You actually feel connected to what's going on. You're actually changing the outcome of what's happening. And indeed, even medical advances off the back of games. Surgeons actually using specifically coded games to help improve their dexterity and their hand-to-eye coordination. So there's a summary of some of the pros. What are some of the cons? And my health warning is, guys, these are my views. Some people may not share these, and that's absolutely fine. I think it can disrupt social interaction. I think that we replace the need to talk to people with tools. So I'm not a big fan of instant messaging. I can remember being at university when instant messaging, Windows Messenger first really appeared, and this is a technologist speaking now, right? People in halls of residence, in rooms next to each other, that were instant messaging, and I'm sure some of that was the novelty of that technology being new, but it did rather strike me as quite a sad existence that you'd rather look at words on a screen rather than actually just go next door and talk to someone, grab a coffee, grab a beer, whichever's your tickle, and have a bloody good conversation with somebody. And, wind on the clock a number of years. I don't want to reveal quite my age, but it's more than a decade, guys. And I see instant messaging at work. Again, I see people that are sitting feet away from each other that would rather have a conversation via instant messaging than actually get up and talk to each other. And that's really detrimental to building relationships with people. That's a real shame. Email as well. I get something like 250, 300 emails a day at work, which is just fascinating. My phone probably rings 3 times a day, and it's probably the same 1 or 2 people that typically ring me at work. It feels like a shame. And we touched on games in the positive sections. Actually, there's some real watch-outs with games. Games can create a real false, should I say, sense of accomplishment. And if that false sense of accomplishment replaces the drive and ambition that you have in your life to succeed and take on difficult challenges, then that's very damaging to that individual, and that really is something that should be discouraged, right? Games should be a form of entertainment, and they should be something that enhances your lives. They shouldn't be something that replaces something else meaningful in your life. And there's something around always being contactable, never quite being completely switched off from work and not actually being completely switched off from home whilst you're at work. And again, these are my opinions, there's something nice about being able to compartmentalize those things from each other and enjoy them for what they are at that moment in time, park them, move on, and then go enjoy the other thing. And the boundaries between what work and personal seem to become ever more blurred. I definitely think there's an awful lot more positives than there are cons. So I think my summary of this video is technology absolutely is a positive and helpful thing for us to have, so long as it enhances and enriches things that we've already got, rather than seeks to replace them. When it replaces basic human needs, social interactions, things like that, when it replaces those things, it's detrimental to us. When it enhances and supports us to do those things, I think it's a very positive thing for us to have. So there we go, guys. I'm sorry it's been a little bit of a deep and meaningful vlog. I'd love to hear your thoughts about whether technology improves our lives. Please leave those down in the comments below. I hope you're very well wherever in the world you are. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, then please do so that you can enjoy all of the fabulous content that there is to come. I hope you're really well wherever in the world you are, and I'll see you in my next video.